from the rural parts to the suburban parts. Sisters and brothers, we must unite based on what we have in common, our purpose, our goals, our hopes, and our dreams, which is to make America everything that it should be. And when folks talk about us wanting ponies, hell yeah, I want all my ponies. I do want ponies. I'm sorry. We can have it. If Medicare for all is a pony, I want it.
Right. Yeah.
College for all is a pony, I want it.
Yeah.
And making sure that people have paid family leave, we want it.
Right.
Why should we accept anything less in the wealthiest country on the face of the earth? In the words of the urban poet Tupac, we got money for wars, but we can't feed the poor. Thank God that in our lifetime we were able to see a senator from Vermont, born and hailed from Brooklyn.
Right. Right.
Who dared to challenge the status quo.
Yeah.
Who dared to dream a bigger dream.
Right.
Who dared to say to Americans in this country, you deserve better than what you have been getting, and together we will create a people's revolution. And although he did not win that primary, let me tell you, he won something bigger. Come on. Which he has awakened the sleeping giants all over this world. And people are standing up. That's why NYPAN exists. I heard the story that the co-chairs were telling. NYPAN exists, got into a room and said, although Senator Bernie Sanders may not have won the primary, it is our obligation. He set the blaze. It is our job to keep it burning, baby, to keep it on fire. Will not do. So, sisters and brothers, in my final moments, I'm just getting warmed up. I ain't even touched my notes. I'm just speaking from the heart.
Keep going.
I just want to tell you what the fiercest of them all is love.
Yeah.
And I say that because we live in a time, unfortunately, that people are not just satisfied with just fighting you on the issue. They want to destroy you.
That's right.
That because of social media, we got grown folks on Twitter, on Facebook, talking about folks' mamas and daddies and cats and dogs, and we call ourselves a civilized society. And meanwhile, while we talk smack against President Trump and the GOP, we have to look in the mirror at ourselves and how we deal with one another when we don't agree. It is not okay to tear people down personally. I often say hard on the issues but soft on people.
Right.
And I say that to you as a sister who's been called everything. No, I know we've been everything but a child of God. Just because I decided to exercise my agency as a black woman in America. We got folks who want to give a shout out to our sisters in Alabama and leave our black brothers behind. They wasn't too far behind the sisters. I'm not going to let folks separate us like that. But what black women want more than being a pat on the head or a pat on the back is how about taking care of the issues that we care about. How about that? You know, we tired of being called the backbone. We know that. From the moment we were brought here, we understood that. What we want to see is some investments in our communities and investment in our children and believing in our leadership. I don't want the pat on the back. Keep it. But what I do want to see is the Democratic Party invest in making sure that black women are in positions of power all up and down the political spectrum. In the history of this country, there has never been a black woman elected as governor of these United States of America. Can we say Stacey Abrams in Georgia? We don't want the pat on the back. And I'm saying that, sisters and brothers, because it's going to take the rainbow mosaic of us to make sure that people and populations that have been left behind have an opportunity to be able to navigate those halls and positions of power, that it should matter that we are in the room. I don't want to hear about what black women did. Well, I shouldn't say that. I'm proud of what sisters and brothers did in Alabama. I am. But if that's all we got, is that all we gonna get? No. It's just not enough.
That's right.
And black folks in Alabama voted against bigotry and racism and pedophilia. That's what they voted against. Came out for liberation, as we always do. I'm saying this in a mixed audience. I want folks to know that the rainbow mosaic of humanity is in this room. I tell this story, I will speak this truth, because I don't speak one thing in one room and another thing in another room. In order for us to form a more perfect nation, we're going to have to do it together. We are going to have to understand, as Reverend Jesse Jackson said, that this is about caste and class. That we are not going to leave any of our sisters and brothers behind. None of them. Black, brown, or white. And don't let these politicians try to separate us. Jesus Christ, when I start calling on Jesus, it's real. So meanwhile, back at the ring, love is the fiercest of them all.
Yeah. You're right about that.
So it was for the love of this country that my ancestors fought generation after generation so that those of us who are in this room tonight could be here.
That's right.
It was for love of this country that the suffragettes stood up and were called crazy and put in jail and force-fed so that women could have the right to vote.
That's right.
It is because of love that the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. and his contemporaries, because it takes teamwork to make the dream work. He is the man that we mentioned. He is the face of it all. But he would tell you that there are lots of folks working beside him, sisters working beside him. We don't shout out Coretta Scott King enough. Yes. But he stood up because it was about love. Love is not weak, love is strong. And it is for the love of this country that we assemble in this room tonight on a Saturday night in January 2018 to affirm that we will continue to work for progress that we may or may not see. But baby, when it comes time to pass the baton to the next generation so that they can run the next leg of the race, they will know that NYPAN was all up in this, that any blue will not do. Love is the fiercest of them all. And I know it's hard to love some folks sometimes. I know. I had one of my mentors, Dr. Bob, she said, look, God loves you and I'm just trying to like you. And I'm feeling that. But I do want us to try, our movement to try. Try not to allow people to pull us down to the dark side. We got to continue to stand up and fight the issues and not talk trash or smack about people personally.
Don't get divided.
Don't
divide. That's right.
And if I can say to you, I have a brother, and don't y'all, now see, don't boo when I say this, y'all got to hear me out now. And I'm saying this because I come from a mixed family. My brother, who I love, who loves me, is a conservative. Republican, and he is a black man. And we talk every morning at 7:30 in the morning, because I'm trying to understand the mind. Go conservative, Republican. But I tell this story because of this, and I want you to follow me in your mind. That if I needed a blood transfusion, if I needed a kidney, if I was laid up in the hospital, it is that conservative Republican brother who would be right by my bedside. So we cannot allow the 2016 election to divide us so much that people are not even talking to folks they love no more. Why would we give that man that much space in our heads and in our hearts that we just turn against each other?
That's right.
That every Trump supporter is a racist. That's wrong. It's not true.
Okay. Okay.
That's right.
It's not true. Just like every Democrat ain't no freedom fighter. But I'm just video blue. Won't do. I'm just putting it out there. So I'm saying this in love. And love is the fiercest of them all. And we just got to hold folks accountable. Now, do I think that the Democratic Party should be the party that helps to deliver folks? Absolutely. But we gotta hold folks accountable. Any old blue just will not do. And NYPAN, that's why I'm loving you, because you got together not just based on people who supported Senator Sanders, but you just got together based on a mission. And that mission is to create a more progressive America. I'm gonna close with this. Don't close. I'm gonna close with this. I think Dr. Bob knows where I'm going. I'm telling you guys this, and none of us are perfect, but we gotta try every single day. And I really do mean that. We gotta try every single day to stay focused. We must protest, but we must also plan. Because progressive, let me just say this to you. This is about economics.
Yes. Yes.
Even for that Trump voter, it's about economics.
That's right.
And you can't win people over by talking down to them. You can't win people over by saying to them, I'm smarter than you, I know more than you, I know what's best for you. But how you win people over is to say, you know what, I understand. Can I share a story with you? Stephen Covey once said, seek first to understand and then to be understood. Who are we to talk down to anybody in this country? Now, if somebody is a flaming racist, we will know that. Tiki torches. But sometimes it's just about getting an understanding with folks and not talking down to them. You can't win folks over by talking down to them.
That's right, Nina.
Love
Senator.
is the fiercest of them all.
Right.
That's
And
right.
people are hurting in this country.
Yeah.
And people try to vote in the best interest in doing the things that they think is right in the moment in the time. We might not agree with it. And the fact that we have a president that's brought back the colored water fountain and the white water fountain, it's all up in our face. But the reason why it's all up in our face is because it was there all along.
That's right. That's right.
He's just elevated it.
Right.
So that's why we must continue to fight and to push regardless of who is in the White House. They don't control our absolute destiny. Not in the United States of America. Love is the fiercest of them all. And the reason why I fight so hard for the underprivileged, black, brown, and white, lottie-dottie and everybody, as my grandmother used to say, is because I know what it means to struggle. I know what it means not to have food on the table. I know what it means to have two parents who got married very young and it just didn't work out, and living the majority of my life in a single mother household who was of the working class, did the best that she could. But how many of you know that some of us fall short in this life? And my mother is just one example of somebody that fell a little short. She loved her children, but some of the decisions that she made in her life had an impact on her children. That is why it is our job in the progressive movement to look out for everybody, because nobody can determine who they're born to.
That's right.
And I say this as someone who watched my mother cry herself to sleep during Christmas because she couldn't afford to get 7 children Christmas gifts. Or a mother who was too ashamed to say that she couldn't afford to pay the utility bills, and so she had her children in the living room praying to God to turn the lights back on. I say that as somebody who knows what it's like not to have adequate food on the table. I say that as somebody who lived in a household who at times 7 children slept in one room. I say that as someone who lost her mother at the age of 22 years old. My mother was 42 when she died with her dreams deferred, leaving 7 children, of which I am the oldest, with nothing. She had no life insurance policy. She had no money in the bank. And she died on the system.
Wow.
Safety nets do matter.
Wow.
Us lifting people up does matter. And we don't know from one day to the next what somebody in this country may be going through. So don't act like we were birthed into this world a Democrat or a Republican. We were birthed in this world as human beings who should care about humanity more than we care about a political affiliation. How I got over. My soul looks back and wonders how I got over. And this is why, sisters and brothers, I fight so hard. This is why I am proud and privileged to lead our revolution. But I am just the first among equals. Every single person in this room is my equal. You see, titles are good, but purpose is better. We got too many titled folks who want you to bow down to them and pay reverence to them, when the fact that they have the power is because it's the people's power. It is your power. It is not their power. It is your power. And every single election cycle, those of us who have the privilege of serving in the elected ministry should win your vote every single time. You don't owe any politician anything. They owe you. Woo! Any blue just won't do. Yeah. Talk about how bad the Republicans are, or how bad the person in the White House is. It is, what do we stand for? What are we going to fight for? What are we working for? What are we hoping for? What are we dreaming about? Resistance without persistence, without planning, is nothing. And progressives, my God, we got to get the power. Because politics is the art of the possible, but it's about who has the power and how they wield the power. It does matter who we elect to office. Christine Pellegrino, it matters. It matters. So we might have all the right ideas, but unless we get the power, they just some fancy, pretty, beautiful ideas. Right. We gotta win the power. And then when we get the power, to wield that power in a way that lifts our communities, our state, this nation, and this world. And that is why we must hold the Democratic Party accountable.
Yes.
Woo! Please do. Just one. It's my real clothes now. I'm starting to feel it now. I got to get out of here. I want you to keep the faith and keep the fight. And I want you to know that from any day to the next, you don't know what the person to your left or to your right is going through.
That's right.
Every day we should try to say a kind word or give a hug or lift somebody, because you just never know.
You never know.
But by the grace of God, there go I.
That's right.
So I gotta leave you with Grandma's 3 bones. Can I do that in New York?
Yeah.
Can I close on that?
Yeah.
The wishbone, the jawbone, and the backbone. You know, my grandmother was born in 1913. She couldn't read or write, but sister, she could count her money. And she kept her money in the Southern ladies' baby trunks with a handkerchief. When I asked my grandmother, what does it take to be successful in this thing called life, she said, my dear granddaughter, all you need are the 3 bones, the wishbone, the jawbone, and the backbone. She said the wishbone will keep you hoping and praying, because hope is the motivator, but the dream is the driver. The reason why we do what we do each and every day is because we hope and believe that tomorrow will be better than today.
That's right.
She She said the jawbone will give us courage to lift our voices, to speak truth, to power, to not sit on the sidelines, to be actively engaged. As I said, titles are good, but purpose is better. But she said the most important bone of them all, the supercalifragilisticexpialidocious bone, is the backbone. Yes. The backbone will keep us standing through all of our trials and our tribulations. And in this life, sisters and brothers, we're going to go through some stuff, but we can't have a testimony without a test. And we are being tested as to whether we got courage enough and conviction enough and hope enough and love enough to stand up to do what is right, but to also do it in love. Because love, sisters and brothers, is the fiercest of them all. God bless you, my friends.